Hey guys, this is Joey and welcome back to a computer build. This is an old Dell Optiplex 760. I'm trying to get rid of it. I hope to get at least $60 out of it. I've spent I think $174 on this. It had a Core 2 Duo in it. Now it's going to have a Pentium D. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to get the max out of this. But I'm going to try and at least get something out of it. I'm only showing you guys because, hey, maybe some people want to see me build a Pentium D Optiplex 760 computer. I don't know. But I'm trying to just get rid of it. So far, what's already been in it is the Dell board, which is it's a Pentium D that's going in it, like I said multiple times. But it's a BTX motherboard, which means the CPU is like a diamond instead of the normal square this way or that way. It's for better heat distribution across the whole entire heatsink. And hey, I don't think this heatsink's it's a little big. But yeah, I'm just gonna finish up building this. Alright, these couple things have been in here the whole time. I just got installed power supply, RAM, some of the back panel parts, floppy stuff, hard drive stuff, and boot it up, see if I can boot into the BIOS. Hopefully. But yeah. Let me just set you right there. I gotta reconnect this, which is the front panel I/O. Which I don't know why they just didn't have a little integrated board on the front. I guess it's cheaper to just do this. Also, the one thing I hate about these type of ultra small form factors or small form factors is because of the power supply. Look at this. Oh. Look at this. This thing is like an L, which means you can't put in a modular power supply or like a normal power supply like most computers. You have to put in their brand power supply with their own stuff. So you couldn't even upgrade this if you wanted, because they even make it difficult for this. This is a 24-pin connector, but it's a mini 24-pin connector, as I like to call it. A micro power, as what it says on the motherboard. I could have looked there first. Nope. Now, I would install the floppy on here, but I do not have a floppy that came with it. Surprisingly. For the age of the computer. That's what I'm starting to notice. Some computers, they still have floppy drive bays. I think some of them do. Not all of them, but some. Alright, let's install the intrusion switch, which is just this little thing. It's like for a workplace, like if you want to see if someone's like opening your computer, tampering with your hard drive, your RAM. So whenever the case opens, this thing will shoot right up and it will send an alert to the BIOS. It doesn't have to be powered on, but it will send an alert to the BIOS. And tell it like, oh yeah, someone just opened your case at this time. Right. Hard drive caddy. Nothing really important. I don't really have the hard drive for it, so I'm just gonna set it in there. I think I have it in the right place. Yep, it's in. I'm gonna do that there. Just pull that around there. Optical drive, I'm gonna have to grab one of them. I clearly wasn't prepared. I had everything except for the optical drive. But well, instead of doing that, I'll just install the floppy drive bay cover. Just a simple little pop-in. Right, we got orange cable, which is something, and blue cable, which is something. I don't know, what is the difference between these two cables? I guess orange is on black and blue is on blue. I assume that's how it's supposed to go. Because they have a blue and a black one, and then they have a blue and an orange cable. I guess blue on blue, black on orange. Alright, so that's going to sit with a floppy cable down below. And then the optical drive, I need to grab that. Give me a second. I gotta unplug myself from the wrist strap. I know some people don't use wrist straps. But I like to use them sometimes. I never used one before. I started using one trying to get into the habit of it. I don't even know if this is a good optical drive. Look at that. Oh. Let me grab the other one. So basically, I have 3 optical drives. Let me turn the light on. Yeah, this is the one I was going to use. It looks weird because it has a circle button. It looks like older. Then there's this one which looks newer, and then there's like this which just looks like a DVD player. I want to use this because it looks like old and it would match with that, but like the color might not match with the front because that's like a dark black and this is like a really light black. I might go with this one or this one, or I'll just use this one. I don't know, let me try and... It's really hard with a tripod because this tripod's like really tight. And it's not even the right tripod for the camera. It's a tripod for a phone. But I was like, oh look, a $5 tripod. Yeah, I'll just use this. Which one do I use? The top one. Now, surprisingly, I don't know if this was just because the seller refurbished this and didn't give me an extra screw for the optical drive, but the thing only has 3 screws. 2 on the right side and 1 on the left side. I mean, the left back, like, doesn't really have a place to have a screw to hook into it, like, on the case. So I don't know if that was, like, Dell did that on purpose, or if, like, the seller was just trying to be cheap and not give me an extra screw. I'm starting to question these screws, because for some reason they don't want to go in for me. So I have to grab another screwdriver. One that might actually work. I'm gonna cry if the inside of this is like just getting destroyed by the screw because it's supposed to stop there. Yeah, 2 screws, 1 screw, empty hole. And these things are simple to install. They just fall down in a little slot, and then you just, maybe if I move that out of the way. Never mind, I am stupid. I am really stupid. So I put them in the top when they are actually supposed to go in the bottom. That shows how much I use this computer. I took it apart and put it back together, I think, twice. But I never took the optical drive apart. Like, I never removed the screws from it. Except for, like, I don't know, last time. When I did. And I was like, oh, maybe I should leave this in instead of taking it out. And I dropped the screw. Yeah, like I said, I'm going to be upset if I just, like, screwed through a whole entire disk drive. Alright, let's install this, push it forward. Plug in the power. Plug in the data. There. Never mind. Let's pull this back out. Never installed RAM. RAM. Key point. What I'm going to install is probably 8 gigs, DDR2. What's the rating on these? Yeah, no rating. 6400 unbuffered. I wouldn't say it's like the best RAM. I mean, if I calculate this right, I'm pretty sure. Yes, this runs at 800 megahertz. So does DDR. So this is probably like a really crappy RAM. And this RAM is getting paired with a lower DIMM, which that's how it was sold to me, as a lower DIMM. Or I could just sell it as a 4 gig kit. I mean, you need 8 gigabytes for these days. So I'll just throw in 8 gigs. Just have a mismatched piece of RAM. And now, how I learned how to handle RAM. Handle it on the edges. Not on the pads, not on the pins. On the edges. Which I don't think it really makes a difference where you handle it. I know some people are like, oh no, you might destroy the thing if you handle it the wrong way. Yeah, I used to have this RAM laying on my floor, a carpet floor, and I would be walking on the carpet floor. And all that static buildup, man, it surely fried my whole RAM kit. Not really, guys. I mean, I understand where they're coming from. We're like, oh, anti-static is the best. Make sure you keep static away from all your things. But at the same time, there's two types of RAM. Static and dynamic. So static, you're supposed to keep static away from, well, electricity, static, electricity. Away from stuff, like electronics. Alright, we got RAM installed. Optical drive installed. So I don't need a RAM anymore. I have this. I should take it out of the bag. It's a serial and keyboard port, which is supposed to go right here. But like, I kinda got rid of the thing that was here and like destroyed it. So I can't install this. So that means I can't install these. So I guess I'm stuck with this. Along with this floppy, well not floppy cable, this ribbon cable. I'd love to have gotten rid of this, but oh well. Guess I gotta live with it. Alright, let's install this. If you don't know what this is the bracket. Bracket and brace, braces and brackets. For the heat shield to rest on. Is that how it's supposed to go? Ow. Oh, that hurt. Oh, that hurt my nail. Right. I know you guys can't really see much here. You just see my hands, like, moving. I mean, I'd love to have, like, a camera overhead so you guys could, like, see what I'm doing. Like, I just don't have the money to do that. To buy a camera so I can have it overhead. So, I mean, it would be nice to have a camera, like, right above my head. The whole time. But, no money, can't help. That's why I'm trying to sell this. Maybe I'll get a camera for less than $60 and, like, angle it above my head. Also, I'm trying to get better at video production. And I just realized something. I almost forgot the key important thing. The CPU. Guys, I am so stupid. I almost stuck this heatsink on the CPU. You know how stupid that is? Let me grab the CPU. So, like I said, if you guys didn't hear me before, what I'm going to use is a Pentium D. Focus. Focus. Okay, hold on. Maybe if I turn the light out. There. Focus. I don't know if you guys can read that well enough. But what it is an Intel E6300 Pentium 2.8 gigahertz. Which I know is very crappy, but I can't live with this stuff. Like Core 2 Duos, they're already like being obsolete in 2019. So I gotta get rid of this Pentium because this thing's getting worse. I'm gonna grab my thermal paste, which is not really thermal paste. It's a secret solution. Yeah, I do not have the right equipment, so hold on. I just had to grab my thermal paste applicator. Thermal paste I can't even say it. I'm not even gonna try. It's a Q-tip. And I'm just gonna stir up the thermal paste. It's a homemade solution. It works good for some things. I mean, my PlayStation, I had to put like lobs of it on there. And I was like, oh gosh, this is gonna end up bad. But I mean, it keeps it cool. Yeah, so there we go. I know they tell you like, oh, pea size, that's all you need is a pea size drop. Nope, not for me. I slapped the whole thing on there. You guys are all probably like, well, if you guys know about computer building, you're probably like, no, what is wrong with you? Yeah, I'm sorry, guys. You're gonna have to deal with it. I think I have the screws in all the way. Maybe. One just feels tighter than the other. Alright, that's tight. That's tight. Actually, I should untighten them just like a tad. Alright, we got that in. I need a CMOS battery. Can't forget about that. I'll go to my collection of CMOS batteries. Or should I just say batteries? This one looks perfect. There. Beautiful. Alright, what else do we have to install? Optical drives. We don't need those anymore. Thermal paste, don't need that. Nope, not screwdrivers. Wait, I might need a screwdriver. I do have 3 screws that have to go in the back of the power supply. There, there, and there. Can't be forgetting about those. That's actually what holds the whole entire frame together. I will miss this computer because I had a lot of memories with this. It was my first ever like desktop. First thing I ever experimented on when I was a kid. And I'll tell you guys a funny story. I had 8 gigs of RAM. Just like that. Just like that in there. So what I thought was, maybe I should upgrade. And I asked my friend, hey, how do you upgrade RAM? He's like, oh, look for the slots. And I was like, oh, you mean these slots? He's like, no, I don't know what those are, but that's not RAM slots. And I was reading them, I was like, PCIe by 16, which it read right there. And I was like, PCI. I was like, what are those? He was like, I don't know, like, they're for, like, cards, like, graphics things, and network things. I was like, oh. So then I started looking stuff up. I was like, what does this mean? What do these even mean? What do these do? And I was so stupid to think that these were RAM slots when these are actually RAM slots. Yeah, very embarrassing. But hey, it was the first time I got a computer. I had a laptop, but that kind of like died. I wouldn't say died, more like just crashed. I don't know what happened. I was like in Windows 10 and it gave me a whole crash. I couldn't even boot into the BIOS. That's how bad it was. But this was my very first desktop. I will miss this. This means a lot to me, this whole thing. Because I didn't know what I was buying at first. I thought like, oh yeah, Core 2 Duo, that sounds very good. And I'll tell you something. Whenever I wrote down in my notebook, because I was like, oh, I'll research some computers. I was saying like, oh, 16 gigabytes of storage, 8 gigs of RAM. When I should have been thinking the other way. 16 gigs of storage, a terabyte of RAM. Not a terabyte. 16 gigs of RAM, a terabyte of storage. See? I'm like mixing my words up and all that. It's just very nostalgic. Just to get rid of this. Even though that whole thing area right there is empty, I'm just selling it as is. It works. But let's make sure it does. Alright, I'm gonna like set that there. I'm gonna like try and get the camera to point right at the screen. Hopefully, maybe, if this tripod would work. This tripod's $5, like I said. Alright, let me turn off the light. It is on. I just have to plug in everything. Alright, oh. Alright. VGA. In. Power. In. Old school keyboard. Okay. That didn't sound good. Not good at all. No screen, clearly. Let me try and power it off, and then power it back on. I mean, the CD drive does work. It's opening and closing. Alright, yeah, let me power this off. Give it some time to boot up. Well, not really boot up, more or less relax. Alright. Power on. And we're going to try and boot into the BIOS. Maybe not. Maybe. What is that error code? Because clearly I'm missing something. It's giving me an orange light on the motherboard. If you look in there, there's like an orange light. It should be green. Like, what's wrong with it? Like, is there too much RAM? I mean, I don't know, guys. I'll try to figure this out some other time. I'll give you guys an update probably in the future what was wrong with it. But hopefully you guys enjoy this video. If you guys enjoyed this commentary, make sure to subscribe to be notified of future videos. If you want to see more videos like this, make sure to like, comment, tell me what you liked, tell me what you disliked, all that stuff. And I'll see you guys all in the next episode. Thank you guys for joining me. See you later, and goodbye.